Morning. Oh my gosh. If you'd like to stand, we'll sing our call to worship. I can see.
Sing it out.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting a message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just what I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 Last time. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
All right, thank you, thank you. Great way to start the day. I want to welcome everyone to Unity of Traverse City, Unity Spiritual Center of Traverse City. I'm Ann Reed, and I am your worship assistant today, and I'm very happy to be here. I need to be here right here. My soul is welcome here right here. My soul needs it right now. I also want to welcome anyone who might be watching us on YouTube. For those who may not know, if you're ever absent and miss a service, you can watch it on YouTube. I do that when I go south, and it's great that we have that option available. So, my goodness, we have this many announcements today. A lot going on. First, let's start with the Father Fred I can't do it, Bob. Father Fred Frostbite Food Drive. Say that 10 times fast. So please consider signing up to man the donation table on February the 10th for the Father Fred Frostbite Food Drive. There are still a couple of slots that need to be filled. Also, we will be collecting donations of non-perishable food items from now until February 15th, which we will donate to Father Fred as part of the food drive. Please consider contributing to this event to help our neighbors in need. The Compassionate Choices Potluck. The Compassionate Choices Group is sponsoring their quarterly vegan potluck on Sunday, February the 8th, following the service. There's a sign-up sheet in the hallway if you would like to participate and bring a dish to pass. Following fellowship, they hope you'll join them in watching What the Health, an investigative documentary for anyone concerned about personal health and how big business influences it. Traverse Indivisible. This is a new announcement. For those of you who may not be familiar with Traverse Indivisible. They are a local chapter of a nationwide group dedicated to building a broad coalition that works to build community, preserve democracy, and create a responsive, accountable government for all. They hold monthly meetings to further their cause, and the next meeting is on February the 11th at 6 p.m. at the Traverse City Library. Several of our UTC congregants attend these meetings and participate in their activities. If you would like to become involved in Traverse Indivisible along with other Unity members, please consider joining the meeting, either in person or by Zoom. If you decide to attend in person, we encourage you to wear your Unity t-shirt, and if you didn't buy a Unity t-shirt, there are still some available, and we can all sit together to demonstrate our involvement and commitment to community events and needs. You must register ahead of time via the Traverse Indivisible website to attend the meeting. Please speak with any board member or Bob if you have any questions about that. Annual meeting. Our annual meeting, which is required by our bylaws, will be February the 22nd at 12:30 p.m. We plan to take a much more informal approach this year, thank goodness. And to keep the meeting as short and concise as possible. During the meeting, we will review the 2025 budget, vote on a budget for 2026, elect members to the nominating committee, and elect new board members if there are any interested candidates. A quorum is required to conduct the business of the church, so please plan to join us if you can. The meeting will be preceded by potluck soup and bread luncheon. You may also attend via Zoom, which is what I do because I'm not here on the 22nd of February. So either in person or on Zoom, but as many of you as possible, please choose to attend. The Deepening Discussion Group, you're invited to join after fellowship today for the monthly Deepening Discussion Group. We are reviewing the booklet, Turn on the Light, The Timeless Wisdom of Eric Butterworth. Even if you haven't read the material, please join us for an enlightening discussion. The group meets after fellowship in the secretary. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, don't talk about script. Thank you. We shortened the announcements. And now we literally have a board minute. Board members, please join me. I'm now a board member. And since I have the mic, I'll start. You have to come all the way up here. I've already mentioned the annual meeting, so I won't mention that again. I also want to mention that on May the 2nd, there will be a memorial service here for June Neal. Many of you knew June. She was a long, long time congregant, great contributor to our community. So again, mark that on your calendars, May the 2nd, 2026.
Okay, I would just like to mention that the nominations for being on the board are still open today. There's information in the back if you would like to learn more about that. But please speak to any board member or Bob if you feel any nudgings to become a board member. It's a wonderful way to serve. It's a wonderful group of people that I've really enjoyed. I'll be starting my 4th year now. But it's just a wonderful way to serve the congregation, to serve our spiritual center. So if you are interested, if you're feeling that nudge, please speak to Bob or to one of the board members. Thank you.
Were you going to talk about the Social Justice Committee?
No, that wasn't. I wasn't ready to do that.
Okay, sorry, my mistake. So have all of you noticed this monitor in the back? Yeah, isn't that wonderful? So this was suggested by a congregant so that when people up here on the platform can see what's on the slides, so that they're not always like wondering what's on the slides. And so that was an idea from a congregant, and this congregant also paid for it. So that was a gift. That was a gift to the church from this congregant. Yeah, so we just wanted to let you know where that came from and how that came about and all that kind of stuff. Bob, is that going to go up on the wall or is it going to stay right there?
To be decided.
Okay. All right, so that's it for today.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you, board. I'm waiting for it to show up on the screen. Not yet. All right, we're going to say our affirmation together. So I will say it first, and then let's say it together. God is my strength. Oh, there it is. I am steadfast and courageous. Thank you.
Spirit's journey, sailing on the ocean, ocean of oneness, ocean of love. Spirit's journey, learning what we're here for. Here we are together, together in love. We are unity, teaching each other, reaching a hand out, touching a friend. We are unity, growing in wisdom, sharing our vision, growing in love. Spirit's journey, seeing horizons, setting a course for living in truth. Spirit's journey, unity in motion, sailing on the ocean of love.
And now's the time we begin our service, and we open with a prayer. Today, I'm going to be reading a statement from Unity Worldwide Ministries. And the statement came about as a result of what's been going on in our world, more specifically in Minnesota. So, if you would choose to, you may close your eyes and listen. Don't have to. But know that this came from Unity. Unity stands with every person grieving, hurting, and afraid in Minnesota and beyond. After the recent fatal shootings and unrest in Minneapolis, where community members lost their lives in confrontations with federal agents, and tensions have shaken hearts and homes. We affirm with unwavering love that every person, without exception, is a beloved expression of the divine, deserving of compassion, dignity, safety, and peace. In these deeply painful moments, we hold before us the spiritual anchors that have guided the Unity movement for more than a century. The oneness of all humanity, the inherent worth and goodness of every soul, the call to practice nonviolence in thought, word, and action, the vision of healing and wholeness for all people. We recognize the real trauma communities are experiencing. We also acknowledge that systems and structures sometimes act in ways that cause harm. As a spiritual community, we are called to stand firmly in truth while seeing beyond fear, and to use our voices, prayers, and actions to help call forth a world where compassion, justice, and peace prevail. As a spiritual community, we call for the spiritual leaders in our movement and beyond, the country's civic leaders and beyond, to act in meaningful ways that bring greater unity and harmony to all our communities. If you or your communities are feeling anxious, afraid, or are in need of spiritual support right now, please know you are not alone. There is an Anxious and Afraid resource page on the Unity website, unity.org, and the Silent Unity Prayer Ministry is available 24/7 for confidential prayer support at unity.org/prayer, or you may call. We hold that all individuals, families, and communities, especially those in Minnesota, in loving prayer, trusting that divine wisdom and love are active even during profound challenges. Let us act with clarity, compassion, and a deep awareness of the divine in every person. And so it is. Amen. And on the screen, you'll see a prayer that I'd like us to say together today. Together, one presence, one power, God. We are one family, one heart, called to peace, love, strength, and action. Divine wisdom guides us now. And prayer is one of the actions that we can take. And Marianne's going to explain a practice that hopefully we'll all participate in.
Thank you. So I've been hearing, I heard about in World War II in London, the people of London began what's called the Silent Minute. And Big Ben would ring at a certain time every day, I think it was 9 p.m. And people would stop and they would meditate and pray for peace, for protection, for safety, they just brought all their energy and love together. And so the board, when we were speaking last week at our meeting, we talked about maybe implementing the Silent Minute here in our community so that at 6 p.m. every day, we stop and pause wherever we are and just join our energy and our light and our love and our peace together and raise the consciousness. We know that being together, when we feel it here, we can feel it even if we aren't physically present, but we can feel it and join and amplify our prayers for peace and for healing for our nation. So the ushers will have these cards in the back. You can put them on your refrigerator, or I'm going to set an alarm on my phone so I remember to pause and pray and unite with all of you for peace and healing for everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, Marianne. Now is excuse me. Now is the time for our meditation. So if you would just get comfortable in your seats. Close your eyes if you're so inclined. And take a slow, deep breath. Allow your body to settle. Allow your spirit to soften. And allow your heart to be exactly as it is in this moment. In the quiet, I remember God is here. God is love. God is the steady presence in which I live, move, and have my being. I breathe into my heart space, and I make room for whatever I am carrying. The weight of grief, the ache of loss, the longing for healing, and the need for compassion. Nothing in me or you is wrong. Nothing is too much for the divine presence that holds us. I gently affirm, I am not alone. The love of God surrounds me. The peace of God enfolds me. The healing life of God restores me. As I breathe, I imagine a soft, warm light within my chest, the Christ light, the inner sanctity of my being. The light knows my sorrow. The light honors my tears. The light holds my heartbreak with infinite compassion. If I've been carrying pain for a long time, I offer it into this holy light not to force it away, but to let love help me hold it. And as we sit in silence, let's speak quietly to our own hearts. May you be comforted. May you feel safe. May you be lifted by grace. May you rest in divine love in the silence. And when you're ready, you extend these blessings outward to those you miss, to those you love, to all who are grieving, to all who are healing, to all who need compassion. May all hearts be soothed. May all burdens be lightened. May all sorrow be met with tenderness, and may peace gently surround every soul. We breathe once more into our open hearts. We breathe gratitude for the presence that never leaves us. We breathe trust that healing is unfolding, even now. And in this sacred knowing, we say, Amen. And so it is.
Let there be less of me. Let there be more of thee. Less of the human, more of the divine. Less that belongs to me, more that is thine. More of God's nature, and less that is mine. Order and harmony now are in place. Where there is harmony, discord will cease. Where there is harmony, there will be peace. Let there be less of me, individuality, more of the Christ self shining through me. Teach me humility. Let me your servant be. Give me serenity, selfless and free. Order and harmony now are in place. Where there is harmony, discord will cease. Where there is harmony, there will be peace. Let there be less of me. Let there be more of thee. Less of the human, more of the divine. less of the human, more of the divine.
Thank you, Carol. Lovely. And now is the time for today's speaker, our very own Mr. Bob White.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Carol and the music team. Welcome to the longest 28 days of the year. It's called February. At the same time, it's going to be 28 degrees today. Yay! That's worthy of a yay. How many here have tried to make something happen strictly with their own will? How many of you have been successful with that? Now, I should have raised my hand the first time and left it down here the second, because that's what we're going to be exploring today, is a theme that touches everyone on our spiritual journey at some point, and that's moving from personal striving and our personal willpower to divine order and following what it is that God wills for us. Hopefully we can find our purpose and the reason for us being here. One of my favorite quotes of all times was by Mark Twain, and he said, "The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why." We're fortunate when we find out why. It turns our lives around. And it's not just a shift in behavior. It's a shift in consciousness. It's a shift in identity. It's a shift in understanding our relationship with the divine when we find that out. And just speaking personally, it can be one of the most liberating transformations that we can experience in our lives when that occurs. Let's begin with something that most of us were trained to do, either by our families, by our culture, our society, our schools, and that is to rely on our personal willpower. If we want to be successful, we have to work harder. We have to work longer. We have to do more and get more than anybody else. We can be anything we want. Just don't be average. Failure is not an option. If we do, we may be humiliated. And if we fail, we are a failure. That's what we are taught at times. It's up to us to make things happen. Don't stop, don't rest, and never let them see you sweat. We were taught that success is something that we have to force into existence. And for a while, that can work. Human will can accomplish a lot. We can get our degrees, we can get promotions, we can get achievements, we can get applause. But eventually, if we're awake enough to notice, we run into a wall, a very thick, very tough wall. And I can only speak for myself. When that happened to me years ago, I reached out and tried to find every harmful coping skill I could get my hands on, and believe me, I think I used each and every one of them at some time. Personal will is finite, has a limited supply. It runs out, it runs down the body, the mind, the spirit. And more importantly, if you think about it, personal willpower is separation in action. We are separate from everyone else. We are separate from the divine. We're consumed with us And what is it that we can do? It begins and ends with me, mine, I did, I will. My strength, my timing, my ideas. It's me in the driver's seat. But unity teaches us something different, doesn't it? Our first two principles. There is only one power, one presence, God the good in the universe. And we are expressions of that power, not separate from it. So when we rely just on our personal will, we are actually working against our own nature. We're like butting heads with ourselves. And we are trying to live as if we were isolated human beings rather than individual expressions of the divine working through us. And to me, that's pretty exhausting work. There comes a moment in every spiritual journey when striving stops working. Maybe it's a health issue. Maybe it's a financial issue, or a loss of a job, or a loss of a relationship, or a dream that we have held so close for so long, we are devastated when it still has not been reached, no matter how hard we push. Maybe it's simply spiritual fatigue, or finally falling off that cliff that we're always thinking about and becoming totally defeated. And in that moment, something inside us whispers, there must be another way. And that whisper is the beginning of surrender, not as defeat, but surrender as awakening. We've all heard the experience that when you get to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on, right? Well, personal willpower is hanging onto that rope as tight as we possibly can and trying to claw our way back up that rope to the top. Surrender is realizing that that's never worked before, it's probably not going to work again. And with trust, hope, and faith, we just let go of the knot and trust in God. It is that moment, I think, when we begin to shift from my will to thy will be done. And to realizing divine order in our lives. When we speak of God's will, we're not talking about something that's distant from us. It's not this being that's up in the cosmos that's looking down and waving something and saying yes to this and no to that. We are talking about the inner blueprint of what we are, our spiritual DNA, where the qualities of wholeness, love, compassion, joy, peace are already inside of us waiting to be expressed. God does not impose will upon us. It is not controlling. It is not about being restricted. It is expressed through us, guiding us, flowing with us, and it's about expansion, expanding our lives. It is the natural movement of life through us when we stop resisting and start allowing. And that, to me, is what divine order is. The order of the universe, even though we can never really know how or why something is occurring, is in order. It's not rigid, it's not mechanical, it doesn't depend on fate. It's the unfolding of life according to spiritual laws. It's the same intelligence that changes the seasons and take an acorn and turn it to an oak tree, and that breathes life into every living being on this planet. It's the rhythm of the universe, and when we begin to align with it, life begins to unfold with grace. Now, this doesn't mean that we won't be without challenges, because we will be. But instead of being anxious, or pushing it, we can react with clarity. We still have to participate. It takes effort, but it does not take strain. And we still have to act, but we can act without fear and act without anxiety. It's kind of like the difference between being on a canoe trip and you're paddling upstream and you're working hard and you're not getting anywhere and you're getting in the trees and it's just not a whole lot of fun. At some point, you can stop, turn the canoe around, and gently move with the current downstream. It's so much easier to do that. Now, what we're talking about is getting rid of our little s selves, that human part of our existence to a degree, and moving to our big S selves, which is in line with spirit. Let's be honest. The ego hates surrender. The ego believes if I don't control this, nothing's ever going to come out right. If I don't push, nothing's going to happen. And if I don't strive, I will be less than and I will not thrive. But the spiritual truth is surrender is not giving up. Surrender is giving up our need to control to a higher wisdom that's within us. It is a partnership with the divine. It's not weakness, it's alignment with spirit. It's not losing control, it's releasing the illusion of control. Because the only thing we can control in our lives, I believe, is how we react to things, how we respond to things. If we can do that, we can make our lives much more peaceful. Jesus said, "Not my will, thy will be done." It was not expressing defeat. He was saying, I release this small step, the small self, I accept the greater self, and I trust the divine pattern unfolding and flowing through me in my life. This is the consciousness that we're invited into, to look at life that way, to know even if we don't know where we're going, we are on the right track. I came across an article that talked about what are some of the things we can do to get a little bit further away from pure willpower and closer to God's will. And one of the first things to do is to pause occasionally. Most of us are conditioned to react immediately. We have a problem, we push back. If fear shows up, we'll fight or we'll run. But divine order begins with a pause, a sacred pause. A moment to say, before I act, I will listen. It is responding rather than reacting. And it makes the ego take a moment of pause. It creates space for gratitude. It creates space for us to hear that small, tiny voice we always talk about in our heads that we don't know where it comes from, but more times than not, in my case, it's been a message from Spirit. Sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning that wakes me out of a dead sleep. I don't care when it happens, I'll take it. It might take a day, a week, a year, no matter how long it takes. It's longer than we want. But the pause is where alignment with the divine begins. We can ask a higher question. Most people, myself included, will ask, what do I want to do? A better spiritual question is, what is mine to do? And tap into that knowledge. And I'm sure you've heard the phrase, just because you can, that doesn't mean you should. Not everything that's possible is meant for me and us. Not every opportunity is aligned with my beliefs. when we ask what is mine to do, we shift from ambition, purpose. What is the purpose of my being here on this planet? We go from ego to essence, and we shift from striving to surrendering. And the answer often comes quietly through intuition, peace, prayer, meditation, or just that thought that pops into our mind and we have no idea where it came from. Pressure is the language of the ego. Peace is the language of spirit. This next part is the hardest part for me, and that is releasing outcomes. I don't know about you, but I always want to know what's going to happen. I want certainty. I want clarity. I want to know how things will turn out. What is worse than going to the doctor and waiting to hear a diagnosis? Few things. But surrender means releasing the outcome and trusting the process. It means, Spirit, I am willing, I am open, I am guided. Show me the path, and I will take the steps. I will move towards what is mine to do while I'm here in this form. It means letting go of the timetable, the method, and dropping all investment and expectations. It means trusting divine order to something that is wiser than our plans and is more creative than anything that we can come up with in our own minds. We stop forcing and go with the flow. We stop trying to control and we start to cooperate with Spirit. And life becomes less about effort and more about aligning. Less about pushing, more about allowing, and less about operating from my willpower and more about operating from God's will. And we discover something that's really quite extraordinary. God is not here, His will is not here to restrict us. It's here to free us, to free us from fear, pressure, and the burden of trying to do everything on our own, by ourselves. We express or we acknowledge things happening to us that we could never have manufactured through our own willpower, and we begin to be supported, guided, part of the whole, and we recall or we feel true oneness with people, the planet, and with the divine. The life of Spirit does not have something that we have to force into being. It's something we must surrender our way into being. And a very legitimate question is, how in the world can we do that? With all the chaos, the uncertainty that's running around right now, the erosion of human rights, and it seems like the rule of law has disappeared. How can we say, this makes sense? Where is this going? At times like this, divine order does not seem obvious, or we can even question its existence. But it is not absent. We feel frustrated, lost, and even question the divine itself. And we know things are not always as they seem. Jesus said in John 7 that he warns about judging by appearances. And where have we heard that? Everywhere, right? Our lives may at times seem like they have run amok, and we don't realize that divine order is still working until we get to the manifestation of that. It's invisible, but at some point, something will occur that will be a true aha. Now I understand. I understand why this had to happen. I understand why this person left my life. I understand why this person came into my life. And it makes sense. I had one of those moments many, many years ago. It started with sitting in a chair and thinking, there has to be more to life than this. This is not what I'm here for. I told this story before, and I'll make this very brief. I thought of A Course in Miracles, and I bought a book 30 years before that, stuck it in a box, and forgot about it. And I was sitting in a chair at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had the thought, I wonder if I still have that book. And I did. I read it, started to make sense. I came back to unity at that point. And when I was here, I was here. I wasn't sitting in my chair when the meditation was going on, trying to figure out what I'm going to do at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I got involved. I became a greeter, and I became a prayer chaplain. Then I became a worship assistant. I started giving an occasional Sunday talk. I became a board member. I became president of the board. And after each one of those things happened, my thought was, what's next? Where do I go from here? And I didn't have a clue. But an amazing thing happened. After each one of those, another possibility popped up. The thought about taking classes and getting into a year-and-a-half class. I thought about giving more talks and having that occur. Everything that I had no idea of what it was for or why it was happening to me led me to where I am now. And I have never been happier than this in my entire life. Divine order is not what we always expect, and maybe even more not what we expected. But it is always for our highest good. It invites us to trust more, hope more, listen to our inner voice, surrender willingly, align ourselves with Spirit, and live peacefully, courageously, and according to our beliefs, our principles. It reminds us that we are expressions of the divine within us. We are not alone. We have not been abandoned. And divine mind can always guide us. I'd like to close with an affirmation today. And once again, I didn't get slides for it. I apologize for that. So I'll read a line and then let's say it together. I release personal striving. I release personal striving. I align with divine order. I align with divine order. I am guided by God's will. I am guided by God's will. Whoops. That wasn't a mic drop. I move in peace, purpose, and perfect timing. I move in peace, purpose, and perfect timing. And so it is. May all of you move this week without the strain of our human will, but in the grace of divine will. May you feel the flow of Spirit moving through you. May you trust the perfect unfolding of your life. And may divine order guide each and every step you take the rest of this week and the rest of your lives. Thank you, and God bless you all. I know.
Thank you, Bob. I will pick up the rogue stapler. Now is the time of our offering. It's a time to share our financial gifts with the ministry. And as children of a loving God, we live in the light of abundance, deeply grateful for all that has been given and all that is to come. We embrace the good that God provides with joy and thanksgiving. Together, let's say our prosperity blessing, which I believe is on the slide. God is the constant, unconditional, and unfailing source of good in my life.
I think you guys are going to want to sing this with us. So if you feel like it, do it. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. It makes me feel so good. I can do most anything. I am loving every living thing. I feel the face of God in paupers and kings. We're all precious, knowing less or more, and we've all got the same treasures in store. That's why I'm loving every living thing. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. It makes me feel so good. I can do most anything. I'm believing in my guiding light. No matter what comes, it always turns out right. Just dig right down to how I feel. Just take a deep breath and grab that wheel. That's why I'm believing in my guiding light. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. It makes me feel so good. I can do most anything. I am rising to my higher place, with the wind at my back and a smile upon my face. Living it, dream a little more each day. It keeps getting easier to find my way. That's why I'm rising to my higher place. Everyone, hold up. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. It makes me feel so good. I can do most anything. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. It makes me feel so good. I can do almost anything. It makes me feel so good. I can do most. It makes me feel so good. I can do most anything.
For those of you who don't know Libby Robone, she's a yoga teacher. Can you believe that? That was great. Thank you, music team. I love it when we end on a high note. It's always good, always good. Oh, I want to welcome anyone who might be here for the first time. I see some new faces. Doesn't mean that you haven't been here before, it just means I didn't see you before. But anyway, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And if you'd like more information about Unity Spiritual Center of Traverse City, there are packets in the back that the ushers can share with you. We also have prayer chaplains available after the service. One will be here, another person will be out in the hallway. If you've never taken advantage of that particular service, it's beautiful. My chaplain calls me once a month, and I rarely pick up the phone because I'm usually doing something else, but I always listen to her message, and then I listen to it over and over and over again, and it just lifts me up. So thank you, Jill. And what am I forgetting? Nothing? All right. I think we're ready to form our circle. I'm forgetting. I always forget something. Get in there. Here. Have my cold hand. Oh, they're so cold. I never knew it was so hard to form a circle.
This is one heck of a circle.
Yeah, no kidding. Bob, do you want to do a closing prayer? Sure. Would you? Thank you.
Take a moment and just acknowledge the day and the power we had. Being able to be in this place with one another in the Spirit. At this time, if you have the name of someone that you know is in need of prayer, please feel free to whisper or say those names into the circle at this time.
Jessica Thompson.
We release these names to the universe, knowing that whoever is in need of these prayers will receive them. We're grateful for this opportunity, for the presence of God in our lives and our ability to share that presence with everyone we come in contact with. We'll close today with our prayer for protection. The words should be on the screen. Together.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God holds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are.